Hello friends, welcome to my kitchen. Take 3 pieces of beef shank. Using paper towels, gently pat the meat dry on both sides. This step is very important. Removing excess moisture helps the beef brown nicely instead of steaming. Now, make a few shallow cuts across membrane, just like you see in the video. This helps the meat stay flat and cook evenly without curling during frying. Sprinkle the beef with ground nutmeg. Friends, it's wonderful to know where you're watching from. Share your city and country. And US friends, tell me your state as well. Then add salt. And finally, black pepper. Do this on both sides. Rub the spices in well with your hands, making sure to season the meat evenly on each side. Warm hands help the seasoning stick better and spread evenly, so every bite is flavorful. Feel free to ask any questions about the recipe in the comments, and I'll get back to you as soon as I see them. If you found this video helpful, please consider liking it. It's a simple way to show your support. Add about 1/4 of a stick or 30 grams of butter. Let it melt gently over medium heat. While the butter is melting, pour 1 tablespoon of flour onto a plate. Lightly coat each piece of beef on all sides, shaking off any excess. This thin layer helps create a beautiful crust and later gives the sauce a nice silky texture. A small, familiar step many of us remember from watching our mom or grandmother cook, learning by simply standing nearby. Friends, for more content like this, make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so you don't miss any new recipes. Place the beef into the pan. Fry over medium heat for about 5 minutes on each side until a golden crust forms. Take your time here. A good crust means deep flavor. Once browned, remove the meat from the pan. Now add a little vegetable oil to a pan. Then add about 1/4 of a stick or 30 grams of butter. Dice 2 onions into cubes. Take your time with this step. Slow, even cuts help the onions cook evenly later. Onions are rich in natural antioxidants and have long been the base of many classic, nourishing dishes that bring warmth and depth to the whole meal. Add them to the pan and sauté gently, stirring slowly. As they warm up, the onions turn soft and naturally sweet, releasing that familiar aroma that fills the kitchen and instantly feels comforting. Next, dice 1 carrot into small cubes. Take your time with this step. The gentle sound of the knife and that familiar orange color always remind me of my mother's kitchen, where carrots were chopped slowly, without rush, while something warm simmered on the stove. Add the carrot to the pan. Stir gently and let it cook, allowing those quiet, comforting flavors to come together. Now dice 2 celery stalks. Celery doesn't demand attention, but without it, the sauce never feels complete. Its fresh, clean aroma quietly lifts everything, making the dish lighter and more balanced. Just like in the slow, thoughtful cooking our mothers and grandmothers trusted. Add the celery to the pan and stir gently, letting it soften and release its subtle fragrance. Finely chop 2 heads of garlic. As the knife touches the cloves, that deep familiar aroma fills the air. Warm, comforting, and instantly recognizable. It's the smell that used to pull everyone into the kitchen, asking what was cooking. Add the garlic to the pan and stir slowly. Let it cook just until fragrant, not rushed, so it stays sweet, soft, and full of its natural goodness. Season the vegetables with 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of black pepper. Now pour in 300 milliliters of semi-sweet wine. Stir and let it simmer for a few minutes. This allows the alcohol to cook off and leaves a deep, pleasant flavor. Moments like this always feel calm and reassuring, watching the sauce gently bubble, knowing something special is coming together. Return the beef to the pan, placing it gently on top of the vegetables. Pour 500 milliliters of broth over everything. Broth adds nourishment and depth, slowly infusing the meat with warmth and comfort. Add a couple of bay leaves, 1 teaspoon of dried rosemary, and a small pinch of cloves. Cover with a lid and let it simmer on low heat for about 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, remove the bay leaves and cloves. Carefully take the meat out of the pan and set it aside. Then add 2 tablespoons of tomato paste to the sauce. Stir well until the sauce becomes smooth, rich, and evenly colored. Tomato paste adds both body and warmth, bringing everything into balance. Place the meat back into the pan. Spoon the vegetables over it. Now pour in 200 milliliters of wine. Cover with a lid again and let everything simmer for another 30 minutes. Let's prepare the garnish. Place 4 medium potatoes into a pot. Cover with water. Add 1 teaspoon of salt. Cover with a lid and boil until the potatoes are tender. Check them by piercing with a knife. If it goes in easily, they're ready. Drain the water completely. While the potatoes are still warm, grate them on a medium grater. Warm potatoes give a smoother dough and are easier to work with. This step often brings back memories of quiet kitchens, when cooking felt unhurried and calm. Add 1 teaspoon of salt, then 1 egg. Mix well. Eggs help bind the dough and add gentle richness. Now add 7 tablespoons of flour, a little at a time. Mix gently until you get a soft, slightly sticky dough. It should be easy to shape, but still tender. This is the secret to light, delicate dumplings. Lightly flour your work surface. Divide the dough in half. Roll each half into a long, even log. As you shape it, enjoy the rhythm of the movement. These small, steady motions are part of what makes home cooking so grounding. Cut into small pieces. Gently shape the dumplings. There's something very comforting about forming them by hand, knowing each one will be part of a shared meal. Pour water into a pot. Add 1 teaspoon of salt. Bring it to a boil. Carefully drop the dumplings into the boiling water. Cook for about 3 minutes until they float to the surface. Now it's time to serve. Arrange the tender beef, slowly stewed in a rich tomato and wine sauce, onto a warm plate. Place the soft potato dumplings alongside, ready to soak up every drop. Spoon the glossy aromatic sauce generously over both the meat and the dumplings. This is a deeply comforting dish, hearty, fragrant, and full of slow-cooked flavor. The kind of meal that fills the kitchen with warmth, gathers everyone at the table, and feels like true care on a plate. Thank you for cooking with me today. But don't go just yet. There's another cozy and tasty recipe I'd love to share with you. Begin by adding a splash of olive oil to your pan to keep the meat perfectly moist and succulent. Add half a stick or 60 grams of butter. As the butter melts, it creates a rich, velvety base that smells incredibly inviting. It instantly reminds me of cozy family dinners, from my childhood, waiting eagerly for the meal to be ready. Then take a 2-pound or 1 kilogram piece of pork. Slice the meat into chunks roughly about 1 to 1.5 inches or 3 to 4 centimeters wide. Pork is an excellent source of protein and B vitamins, which are essential for keeping our energy levels high. It also helps build strong muscles. Beyond its health benefits, pork offers a savory, hearty flavor that makes any meal feel comforting and complete. Now, transfer the pork pieces into the pan. Season with 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, cook the pieces until the bottom is beautifully golden, then flip them over. Season the second side and keep cooking until the meat is browned all over. By browning the meat this way, you seal in all the natural juices, making sure every mouthful is incredibly soft and delicious. Then, as the meat sizzles in the pan, cut 2 to 3 white onions into half rings. I have a real passion for adding onions to my meals. Not only do they provide vital nutrients that support a healthy heart, but they also transform as they cook. As they become tender in the pan, they develop a lovely natural sweetness and an aroma that makes the entire kitchen feel so incredibly cozy and inviting. Next, arrange the onion slices across the bottom of a square baking dish, using your hands to pull the layers apart lightly. Season with half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of paprika, Pour in 1/4 cup or 60 milliliters of soy sauce, 1/4 cup or 60 milliliters of Worcestershire sauce. Mix the onions lightly with tongs to make sure they are completely and evenly seasoned. Watching the onions come together always takes me back to my mother's kitchen on Sunday afternoons, where I learned that taking your time with simple ingredients is the real secret to making a meal feel like home. Now, take the pork out of the pan and arrange the pieces directly over the seasoned onions in your baking dish. Next, it is time for the sauce, so let's prepare it in a small bowl. Combine 30 milliliters of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of honey, 2 teaspoons of mustard, take 1 lemon and cut it in half. Then squeeze the juice from 1/2. The lemon adds a fresh zest and is full of vitamin C, which is great for boosting our immune defense. Add the juice to the bowl. Sprinkle in 1/2 teaspoon of salt to bring all the flavors together. Add 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. Give it a good whisk until the sauce is completely uniform. Then take a brush or a spoon and coat the pork pieces thickly with this glaze. While you work, just imagine how that blend of honey, bright lemon, and savory mustard will turn into a sticky caramel in the oven. It creates the kind of mouth-watering scent that pulls everyone into the kitchen before the timer even goes off. Seal the dish tightly with a layer of foil and slide it into your oven, preheated to 360 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius. Let it bake away for 1 hour and 20 minutes. Now, place 1/2 stick or 60 grams of butter into a small pan and let it melt. The fragrance is so wonderful, it instantly makes the house feel like a home. Pour in 1 cup or 240 milliliters of milk. Gently stir it into the butter. Next, take 2 garlic cloves, press down on them with your knife to crush them, and then chop them into coarse pieces. Garlic is a powerful ingredient. It acts as a natural shield for our body, helping to keep us healthy. Its sharp, pungent aroma mellows out beautifully as it cooks, creating a deep base of flavor that you can almost feel warming you up from the inside. Add it right into the pan. Now, finely mince a small sprig of fresh rosemary. Only a little is needed to let those fragrant oils escape. The woody aroma of rosemary always reminds me of cozy winter gatherings, when that single distinct scent was enough to make the entire home feel like a special occasion. Add it into the milk mixture. Let the sauce simmer on low heat for 15 minutes, giving those beautiful flavors time to meld together. But make sure to keep a close eye on it so it does not reach a boil. Then, slice 5 to 6 potatoes into small chunks. It is best to keep them consistent in size so they all cook through evenly and reach that perfect tender texture at the same moment. The soft sound of slicing through fresh potatoes always brings back memories of rainy afternoons in my grandmother's kitchen, where the simple act of preparing a meal felt like the greatest comfort in the world. Now, transfer the potatoes into a pan. Cover them with water. Add half a teaspoon of salt. Let them simmer for 20 to 30 minutes until they become nice and soft. Check the potatoes by poking one with a knife. If it slides in easily, they are ready. When they are finished, move them into a large bowl. Then pour the butter, milk, and garlic blend through a fine sieve right onto the steaming potatoes. This step ensures we capture all that rich infused essence while keeping the texture perfectly refined. Mash the potatoes thoroughly until they become silky and smooth. There is a truly therapeutic rhythm to mashing potatoes. It feels like you are transforming basic staples into a warm bowl of pure, heartfelt comfort. Let's put together a fresh salad. Add a few handfuls of salad greens into a large bowl, then slice 1 bell pepper into half rings. Adding these vibrant slices makes the whole meal feel much lighter and more balanced. I love how bright and cheerful it looks. Plus, peppers are loaded with vitamin C to boost our immunity. Add to the bowl. Next, slice 1 cucumber in the same way. Cucumbers are fantastic for hydration and add a refreshing crunch that takes me back to picnic lunches in the summer. Add to the bowl as well. Next, cut 1 tomato into small strips. Tomatoes are rich in lycopene, which is excellent for heart health, and their acidity balances the salad perfectly. Now, chunk one avocado to add a lovely bit of creaminess to the mix. Its soft, buttery consistency makes the salad feel so much richer, and those healthy fats are wonderful for supporting your heart and skin health. Scoop the flesh out and add it right in. Finally, cut one red onion into very thin slices. The onion brings a nice touch of sharpness and a crisp crunch that perfectly balances the sweetness of the other veggies. Scatter the slices over the top. This colorful bowl looks so inviting. It is like having a bright piece of summer right on your table. Then pour 2 tablespoons of olive oil into the bowl for our dressing. Add 1 teaspoon of mustard. Squeeze the juice of half a lemon. It brings a bright freshness that lifts all the other flavors. This citrusy spark acts like a little wake-up call for your palate, making every bite taste crisp and clean. Season with 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of black pepper. Sprinkle in 1 teaspoon of oregano. Give it a good whisk until the dressing is completely uniform. Drizzle it over the salad. Toss everything lightly so every leaf is perfectly coated. The wait is finally over, and our pork is done to perfection. Slide the pan out of the oven. Gently peel away the foil. You will see that the meat is incredibly moist. It has bathed in those savory juices until the meat becomes incredibly soft and succulent. To plate this up, nestle a thick slice of the pork right in the center. Follow it with a big, comforting dollop of our silky mashed potatoes. Then add a heap of that bright, crunchy salad right next to them. This combination is just wonderful. The richness of the meat, the creaminess of the potatoes, and the zesty snap of the greens are a match made in heaven. I truly hope this dinner fills your home with as much happiness as it does mine. Thank you for cooking with me today. Until next time, happy cooking.